iBasso DX340, the latest flagship grade reference digital audio player from iBasso, priced at 1,699. Just have a look at this DX340 here. Very premium looking, very beautifully built, entirely made of steel. The weight itself, because it is entirely made of steel, is at around half a kilo. Yes, it's quite heavy, as it is quite huge as well. As compared with other digital audio player which I have in my collection, this is without doubt the biggest one yet. And let's just have a look at the construction itself. Like I mentioned, it is made of steel. So the edges here tend to be kind of a bit sharp. And in order to use it comfortably without that pointy edges pointing at your skin or anything like that, it is absolutely necessary to use this case here. Otherwise, you're going to feel the sharpness of the edges, and it also protects this digital audio player. This thing also packs so many things, so many innovation. For example, like it has this detachable amp 15, and it also comes with this special port here which allow you to charge or to power up the amplification module separately. It comes with a patented battery, the first battery being for the digital part of it and the second battery for the analog part of it. So that is the first time that I have seen this kind of technology of battery being implemented into a digital audio player. What it means is that you're going to have a discrete power to power up this DX340. The beauty of this discrete power from this DX340 is that once you connect 12V power into this amplifier module here, then what will happen is that this DX340 now becomes your dedicated full-time desktop DAC amp with maximum power. However, in order to operate, it will still need a separate power from the USB port here. And the good thing is that iBasso also included to limit so that the charging will not go beyond 80%, prolonging the life of this DX340 for longevity. When used as a portable device, this DX340 was able to get me at around almost 8 hours of runtime, running Tidal in streaming mode with Wi-Fi and 4.4mm balance. And when I switched to the dedicated Mango player mode, which is an offline, local-only playback, I was able to get almost 9 hours. Even when running fully on battery mode, DX340 is perhaps, without a doubt, the most powerful digital audio player which I have the pleasure to own so far. 1200 milliwatt of power from the 4.4 mm balance and from the high gain. And on top of it, just remember, if you ever need more power, you can just simply plug in 12 volt. Of course, it is no longer portable, but in return, you're gonna get 2150 milliwatt of power per channel at 32 ohm. That is crazily impressive. So which also means that this DX340 have no problem at all driving something so demanding like this Sennheiser HD600 here, or even Hi-Fi Aria Unveiled, which I have reviewed very recently. And of course, it is absolutely amazing when used with this Vario FT1 here. It synergizes really well with anything from the most demanding and also to the most sensitive IEM. Despite the huge amount of power, it was able to drive properly highly sensitive IEM like this Vario FA19 here, which is very sensitive. This thing will emit any kind of floor noise if the source is not clean. And I am happy to say that this DX340 here is super clean sounding despite being so very powerful. For many years now, iBasso has been known with one thing in particular: pushing for innovation, pushing the limit, and pushing the boundaries. Such is the case for this iBasso DX340, a prime example of iBasso pushing the limits. This iBasso DX340, without a doubt, the very best digital audio player which I have the pleasure to use so far, regardless of price. And the reason for that, under the hood, the heart of this DX340, it comes with this 16 cascaded digital audio converter, PWM8E. Now, I will not pretend to know what are those things, but I do know as a result of that, you're gonna get, first and foremost, flagship level quality, reference level resolution and imaging. And on top of it, this thing is super transparent, neutral, uncolored, and accurate. So what does it mean? It means that this DX340, you can expect it to reproduce, to render the sound as how it was intended to be, regardless of resolution, all the way to PCM 768 or even DST 512 1 bit. And the best part is that it does not sound clinical. There's proper balance of being musical and analytical at the same time. So what I'm trying to say is that it is super smooth sounding, analog sounding, organic sounding, while being super analytical. To get a bit of perspective, let's just compare this DX340 against some of the competition in the market within the price point of 1,000 to 2,000 US dollar, with some of the digital audio player which I have the pleasure to test very recently. Now let's just start with Cayin N6 Mark III, which is priced at 1,299 US dollar. And you have to remember, this DX340 is priced higher at 1,699 US dollar. So the price itself is already a difference. And of course, this thing is heavier, taller, and bigger. So if size is a concern to you for portability, then I would just simply say that N6 Mark III would be a bit more appealing. But when it comes to sound and performance, both of them are pretty much equally matched. Both of them being super transparent, analytical, and musical, and rich sounding. However, when it comes to absolute power, I must give advantage to this DX340, because if you are driving something which is highly scalable, something which is a bit more demanding like magnetic planar, something like Hi-Fi Aria Unveiled or Hi-Fi Aria Stealth, then I must admit that this DX340 would be at advantage of being able to push for 100% performance out of those demanding headphones, while the N6 Mark III would be able to push as close as 97%. The next comparison would be Hi-B R6 Pro Max, and the first difference that Hi-B R6 Pro Max is definitely cheaper than this iBasso DX340, by almost 700 US dollar. So keep that in mind. And I'm just gonna simply say, everything else considered, this DX340 is just simply superior in every way possible, with one exception. R6 Pro Max is a bit more efficient with power. The drain of the power itself, you can use it a bit longer with the runtime, and it also can resolve a bit higher with the resolution, up to 1024 DSD 1 bit. And of course, last but not least, comparing against iBasso DX260, which is also my favorite. And the first difference between those two, of course, the price. iBasso DX260 is literally 700 US dollar cheaper than this. It is definitely a lot smaller and a lot lighter than this DX340. However, that DX340 can only resolve up to DSD256 resolution. To begin with, the DX340 is already excellent when it comes to resolution, imaging and details, because with the octa-core included inside and also with 1000 milliwatt of power, you can expect stellar performance from it. The main difference between that DX260 and this 340 is that this does sound richer, denser with the sound note itself. I'm just gonna make it very simple. It is so very easy for me to love this iBasso DX340 from the get-go, for the fact that it is very powerful for a digital audio player. It can literally replace my desktop DAC amp, and on top of it, it is still very portable. I can carry it around with me. It can do many things which I love, but I think most importantly, it offers the kind of sound, the quality which I love, which is being super analytical, musical, and at the same time analog sounding. It does not sound lean, it does not sound dry, it does not sound clinical at all. So to me, if anybody would be asking what I would recommend for a total solution, for Endgame total solution, which is highly portable, this is it, without a doubt. If you like what you're hearing, what you're seeing, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. And also, please take a moment to click like here. It will really help me out. It is free, by the way. And also, please follow me on Instagram, which I have set up very recently. My Instagram will be a platform for me to provide quick updates on the things that I do beyond this video. And again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.